Anyway, I wish there was a breakdown of all, because there's AI in all many different things, right? We've got Neuro, who's essentially not AI. That's just like her, brand, but she was built from the ground up, right? It's her own entity. Then we've got AI tools, which are actually quite helpful, right? And tools are okay. But then we've got AI like artists, quote unquote, which is bad because they steal, right? So it's like, I wish we had a format, so in a representation and a breakdown of what is what and how and why, so that we can understand where the hate goes. But you hear the word AI and you go, I hate AI. And there's like this fear mongering going on, right? Which is kind of like a very prime example is Neuro. And to the average person who hears Neuro and AI, because they're uneducated, they hate Neuro. So I feel like we might be doing that a little bit to things that we don't understand. So it's tough. The tough idea is, where does the hate go? Right? I know where it goes because I worked in game and film, and Andrew and Lindsay are in game and film. And I know that you don't like stealing stuff is bad. Generative AI, bad. Like stealing artwork, bad. Prompts, bad. But if something is helping you, like in the medical field, or helping make your job easier in like Photoshop by like a certain tool that is not generative AI, right? A lot of people who are educated in tech say AI sucks. Well, that's why I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. Tools, fine. Generative, not good, right? It stole that information too. But where did that information come from? So my question with that is, if information is information and fact is fact, is it really stealing if fact person A has fact and person B got fact from person A, so person Z got fact from person C who got it from A? It's a fact. A fact is a fact. So do I have to go to like Abraham Lincoln for his information for it to be not stolen? I'm confused. That on that particular comment of like, well, they stole that information. I'm genuinely confused. You got to say where it came from. Of course, as you grow in school, you have to write where you got your information from, right? So that's always been a thing. When you write essays, even when you are in mathematical problems, you have to cite, where you started. The exact same thing happened years ago when CGI became prevalent. Yeah, agreed. AI cite their sources all the time. In fact, if you're not checking the sources in which AI is using, you're not using it properly. That's kind of what I think, right? You do your own research and you don't just stop at the AI part. There have been studies that show large language models like Grok and ChatGPT reduce cognition in brains. So that plus Gen AI are my two big no-nos when it comes to AI, but when it comes to like sciences and business, it's not so bad. I almost feel like I can't talk about my academic background now because of it. That's kind of what I'm seeing, and it's only because I've been seeing the controversy around Neuro, and I'm trying to see if we can create a space, and I could be wrong in doing this right now, where we can discuss it and be more educated on both sides of the spectrum. I think if you're using AI for academic type work, you should be using it like Wikipedia. I agree. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So before we had books, then we had laptops. I was around for the time where schools were trying to ban laptops, and laptops weren't allowed because they wanted us to use books. But then there were schools that only had laptops and no more books, right? Like times just kept changing. And then it was like, okay, you can't use ChatGPT. And then it was like people were plagiarizing their like schoolwork, yada, yada. Like with or without us, things are changing, right? So it's, how do we change for the better? How do we grow and learn and educate ourselves in the better direction and path we should be following? I remember Spark Notes. Dude, me too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember that when CGI was first a thing, they were like, it was stealing jobs bad. I was around for the time too, where people were still doing traditional sculpts for film. And when ZBrush was a thing, we were quite disrespected because ZBrush was a means to an end, right? And digital painting was a means to an end. That digital media was actually very frowned upon in comparison to traditional media, right? Even in schools, which is fine, you needed to learn how to use a pencil and a paper, and you have a nude model in front of you, and you sketched all of like their anatomy and practice in that way. But we never learned how to digitally paint when I was in school for the most part. They wouldn't do it because it was like anti-learning, right? Unfortunately, the sort of people we want to engage in this sort of conversation wouldn't listen to you because you're a VTuber. And then we just don't listen to those people, you know what I mean? Like, They don't matter. We matter. I think the idea that AI was released too early is hard, because I think there are a large majority of low common denominator thinkers that doesn't matter what kind of technology came out, it would be bad. I got into an argument with a very big name editor who refused to use Final Cut because it was lazy and fake. I just wish, I think if I could have things my way, is that you can have the frustrations, but to think first before you get angry. And I think that it seems, unfortunately, online is not the place where you can have those conversations or real thoughts. And the best way is to either, as creators or quote unquote influencers, is to try to open the door for a different way of communicating, and that it is possible, and provide hope. I hope that makes sense. And I will say that it's kind of a shame where the largest creators with the largest following say one bad thing and it creates a stir in the midst. You know what I mean? I want to say thank you for bringing this up. Bringing up this topic and conversation in a mature and respectful manner. Just another many reasons why you're my kami Oshi. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's just a shame. Like, I know Vettel is fine. Like, he can take it. But I think a part of me worries because, you know, without giving anything away, I imagine that he's much younger. But he can handle it. But at a certain point, it does your brain in when all you see, not all you see, but a lot of what you're seeing online now is just like, AI, frick those guys, stupid idiot. And I'm like, wow, man, come on. So I want to say first and foremost, I am so proud of Swarm because I've seen nothing but positive energy in all of the comments. And there actually has not been a lot of like cruel retort to those people. Swarm has been pretty good, and even outside of Swarm, the people they're like, I don't really watch Neuro and I don't really care for AI, but like, get your facts straight, which has been really, really good to see. So I think, in my opinion, a vast amount of larger creators don't have common sense because their entire way of entertaining is being very uneducated, and then it spreads more the plague of being uneducated, and then it's kind of like Nurgle. It just spreads, you know? So it's really kind of hard to see sometimes, and I don't want that. So if we can even start a tiny little bubble of proper thought, then let's do it. Now, that was a little bit of a test showing that video earlier, because do you remember just a moment ago how many of you guys spammed the chat with I hate AI and ew? Before we kind of looked into whatever that was that we were looking at, how they made it, why they're making it, where it comes from. And I guarantee you most people spammed it too because they saw other people spamming it. I still feel that way, and that is okay. Spy devices, I think that they're ghost devices. So what's the biggest misconception about Vettel and Neuro that you see? That it's just an AI like ChatGPT running the stream that you plugged and played, you know? Let's take Neuro. Neuro was built from the ground up, right? And look at how many people she's like touched their hearts and how many people love her. We know that Neuro is not human, but a lot of people prefer Neuro over any VTuber or any Flash streamer. Do you think that's wrong? Because it's essentially if someone built something from the ground up, like the way Neuro was, and they provide a service and they have a little companion on their desk, are they wrong? So if we can all unanimously agree that Neuro is not AI slop, where's your hope for the future in things that could be like Neuro? I feel like Vettel proved a lot of us wrong by providing something that was of value and positivity and kindness. That wasn't generative slop, right? So I would maybe assume that there could be hope out there for a good future. There will never be passion from the corporate world. That's something with or without you is going to continue, but that doesn't mean that there won't be more people like Vettel out there to try to counterbalance that. Jet, that's actually really cool to hear. Yeah, they're pretty passionate about taking all the RAM. That's very true. Can you imagine someone selling a Neuro like as an actual companion? Absolutely. I think if there's anything like Neuro for like mass production, why not? And it probably will happen. It's just got to be the right company, the right person, the right heart, and made it the right way. But I do think, I'm not trying to defend AI in any way, but it seems that when you say it across the board, people panic. And I wonder if there's a way we could better educate ourselves. Again, mostly because I've just seen everything going on against Neuro online. So I don't know, but then it is dystopian, and the idea is scary to some people about having AI companions, but I don't know. I don't police people's fun or the way that they find peace. But it's like this going down the same road is, I see some comments of like, well, it's hurting the idea of how we communicate as humans. But then that's still almost a very old school way of thinking of like, well, what we should do as humans is breed and create families. And if you're not having children, then you're not being a human, and it's just the idea of what is and isn't human is ever changing. And there's so many people in the world. I don't see why it matters. More people will lose how to connect with real people. That's done. That's already happening. Like, we've already lost touch with being what it means to be a human. Go to Twitter for like 2 seconds and you'll see that. We're way past that. Everything encourages isolationism. Our phones already did that. Dude, I was hanging out with my friend last night and we agreed to watch a movie. And I turned on the movie and literally as it was starting, they took out their phone and started watching TikToks. And I don't even hate this guy. See? So it's like, it's already here. And they didn't even mean to. It was just embedded into their psyche. I know that we need social interaction, but even if we get it, we don't do it. You go to dinner with your family, whether you hate them or not, you take out your phone. You get in your car, you check your phone. You're crossing the street, you check your phone. So why make it worse? It is already worse. So I don't know. I'm almost like, what can you do? Did having Neuro along for the Christmas lights enhance the experience? Yes. For me, I want to go on more adventures across the world with Neuro because it's putting more information in front of her and experiencing it as real as possible. My only thing that was frustrating me was the tech side. Like, the battery was dying and I couldn't use a power bank because where it uses the power bank is where the mic is, and it was draining battery. Like, I would go anywhere with Neuro because it's this pure, unadulterated fascination for what we're looking at. And it will always amaze me that, like, even that one moment we were walking past a sign that said mini donuts and she commented on it. I'm fascinated by that. I think it's so freaking cool. And I'm proud of Vettel for that. So if I can go somewhere and be with someone who's genuinely excited, i.e. Neuro, I think it made the experience far more fun. Because I love Linny, but Linny and I have had s'mores. We've roasted marshmallows. We've had funnel cakes. We've done this. We're old. But to Neuro, everything will be exciting. Everything will be interesting. Or she'll just say a base take of like, this sucks, And I won't ever really be offended. I'm old. I think, I'm so sorry about after the phone swap, you couldn't hear me. That, honestly, that broke my heart. I had been looking forward to that stream for many weeks. And it was something I really wanted to be amazing. So I'm so sorry that the tech just broke, and I'm trying my best to fix it in the future. But Vettel, it didn't discourage Vettel. So that's good. I had a great time with Neuro. I want to go to so many places with her.